Oh my gosh. I just. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. How long did I have this image up? Dude, it was up the whole time. I mean, it's not like it really made a difference. I wasn't doing anything on the computer, but. What? Dude, I'm so stupid. I didn't even notice it. For the full 3-hour video before, I didn't even notice that the picture was up the whole time instead of showing the screen. Dude, what? Now I have to do a 13 question fund. That's funny. 13. Where are the answers for that? So, 13 stinking questions. 13. That was funny. I have 32 total, and 13 of them are just this one. And which one is it going to be on the test? And is it going to just be one? Like, I thought he said one on... I thought that he said that there was only going to be one fund on the test. I think there is. Maybe there'll be more questions, like maybe we'll have like 10 full questions for it or something, but... Like seriously, you give us 7 funds to study, and there's only going to be 1 out of 7 on the test. Why? Are you kidding me? Oh. You know what I would much prefer is if he had like all 7 funds, but there were like 3 questions per fund, or something like that, instead of just choosing 1 fund out of 7. Because if you choose 1 fund out of 7, and some people may have not have studied that particular fund as much, and therefore it's going to affect them way more. That was funny. The BCWLP. Also, this has got to be an enterprise fund, right? Like, also the parking lot, that's got to be an enterprise fund. Yet I couldn't really tell the difference in the transactions. Like, I'm going to look back at not the oil fund. I'm going to look back at this parking lot thing. I mean, all these transactions look just normal. Look how they normally look. Because I still have the expenditures. Is a parking lot fund or not an enterprise fund? Wait, that's a fire station. I'm done. Wait, I'm an idiot. This is the fire station and the oil fund. Apparently, okay, the fire station is still not an enterprise fund. So this has got to be completely different, right? This has got to be totally and completely different because it's enterprise. Please tell me this is actually going to be different. Like, all these entries are going to look completely different, right? I'm just going to look at the answers. I'm sorry. Let me look at this. Yeah, it does look different, actually. It does look different. It's going to be way more similar. You know, I have a very good feeling he's not going to give us an enterprise fund in a governmental class. I mean, if you were going to choose any fund, one fund, to be on a governmental accounting test, you would choose a governmental fund, not an enterprise fund. Dude, what if I literally just skip studying the enterprise fund accounting? Because enterprise fund accounting is like normal accounting. So what would be the point of studying governmental accounting if you gave us an enterprise fund? I mean, yeah, there's some different stuff, but I'll still go over it, but I'm probably not going to go over it a second time, unlike some of the other stuff. Because I see a lot of stuff on here that's different. What's different here? Like, there's bonds payable. Plant. Look at that. There's plant. That's an asset, right? That's the capital asset that's not recorded in the other funds. Operating revenue? We don't record operating revenue for the. Well, maybe Like what else? Like compensated absences expense. There's expenses on this. This is an enterprise fund that has expenses, whereas the other ones have expenditures. What else? And there's like supplies, and also the supplies, they don't have the fund. They don't have the entries for like changing it to non-spendable fund balance for the supplies. So, and obviously they're going to have depreciation expense. That's a difference. There's interest expense, supplies expense. Like, look at this. This looks just like regular old normal accounting because it's an enterprise fund. Okay. So I should be able to do pretty well on this. Dude, what if I just skipped studying this part entirely? And then if it just so happened to be on the test, I would just be like, okay, just do anything you would normally do in normal accounting, and you should get like at least half of it correct. And then I'm like literally just aiming for half. Okay. On January 1st, the county purchased a water and power plant and its utility distribution network. Well, wait, I saw a plant. I saw a plant in there. Was that the first one? There's a useful life of 10 years with no salvage value. Issued bonds payable. So first you issued bonds payable. In the subsequent year. Okay, so all this information will be used later. So first of all, issued bonds. This has got to be the same, right? As normal accounting. When you issue bonds, you increase cash, increase bonds payable. Oh, come on. They split it between current and non-current. And yeah, like I'm going to remember to do that. They split the bonds payable between current and non-current. Like, do we even do that in a, should I call it normal? What would the other accounting be called? I don't know. Normal accounting. Oops, don't look at the answers. And that's it for one, right? Oh, come on, dang it. Never mind. They bought the thing. So instead of saying, no, don't we call it plant assets? I don't know. Plant and then cash because they just paid for it, right? And that's all of one. Number two, the county transferred $600,000 from the general fund to this fund as a contribution to begin the CWLP. So that's going to be a transfer in. Oh, hold on a second. Transfer in is actually going to be the credit and the cash. Okay. Yep, that was easy. And then number three, during the year, they billed residents this much money. And also now we're considering thinking about this in terms of normal enterprise. Full accrual, I guess we should just call it full accrual, or government-wide. No, it's not government-wide, it's full accrual. It's accounting. It's not a government-wide accounting because it's just an enterprise fund which requires full accrual. But anyways, I'm glad I finally figured this out. The fire station fund was not an enterprise fund. The oil fund was not an enterprise fund. I don't even know what type of fund it is, but who cares? It's a governmental activity. So Um, okay, so if you build residents this much, it's kind of hard. Don't you say revenue? Well, this should be the operating revenue, right? Like, shouldn't it be this much is operating revenue and accounts receivable? Holy crap! I actually kind of got it right. I just missed the allowance for uncollectible accounts receivable. I was literally exactly right, except for missing the allowance. So let's see here. Allowance for uncollectible accounts receivable. Yeah, that's one of the more confusing concepts in regular accounting. But clearly, it's just the difference between the accounts receivable and the operating revenue. So the revenue, same with the property tax revenue of the other funds that we did. You do accounts receivable for the full amount, and then the revenue section is only going to be the amount that you expect to collect, and the difference is the allowance for uncollectible accounts receivable. Is that all for 3? I know how to do 2% of that number. I don't even need to do it. During the year, residents paid. Now, you receive cash of $3.6 million. And what's the debit? Accounts receivable. Easy. And then here's the thing. They paid this much in cash during the next 2 months. Do you count that? Do you count that? No, you do not. It doesn't matter. Apparently, you do not care about the next 2 months. That must only be the case in the other method of accounting. We don't care about the next two months. That's only for the other one. That was funny because I don't see it on the answer key, so you don't include it. And during the year, number 4, during the year, they billed the county this much for general operations. Okay, this is weird. What is that? Okay, this is a very strange one. What do I count this as? This is kind of... Alright, let's just look at the answer here. They added up all the amounts, right? Let me just add it up just to be sure. The first entry is 1.8 million, so I have to add up all the amounts just to see if that's what it is. Yep, that's what it is. Due from general funds, that makes sense. Operating revenue. Huh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Operating revenue, due from general fund. Due from general fund is kind of like accounts receivable. So, what else? And then, it's weird, they don't split it up into the different things, do they? No, they don't. They don't split it up into the different ones. That's only for on the general fund side of things that they split it up there. So during the year, the county paid this much on the amount, so received the cash and decreased the due from general fund. That's pretty easy. So that should be it for number 4. Number 5 is, gosh dang it, is this going to be a payroll? Another payroll question. Oh, how long is the answer for 5? Oh my gosh. accidentally saw compensated absences. Okay. The county followed its payroll schedule during the year. The schedule calls for the county to pay its employees for work performed in the current month on the 5th day of subsequent month. The Green State tax. Yeah, this is a repeat from before, except. So apparently the county pays the payroll for all the employees of the BCWLP. Payroll taxes due to both governments are paid on the same day that the employees are paid. During the year, the county incurred equal monthly costs. Now we have to get the other paper already. During the year, the county incurred equal monthly. What the heck? What is that? What? Oh, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that freaking means, dude. Is the $302,000 the cost of paying the employees? I don't know what they mean by that. That's weird. During the year, vacation days used totaled 99,700 and days earned totaled this much. Yeah, I'm probably just going to skip studying the enterprise fund because, like, I don't know. Like, what are the chances he's going to be like, I'm just going to give them the enterprise fund, which is like normal accounting. Oh my gosh. Like, come on, please. What if he actually does multiple funds? What if he does one enterprise fund and one governmental fund? Is that what they're called? That would actually make a bit of sense. That would make a bit of sense to have us do both two different funds and have a smaller amount of questions. Yeah, I'm afraid he's going to do that. But please don't put this a payroll question. Please. That's probably going to be the most complicated question I have to work through if I even decide to work through it. Okay. Yeah, I literally. Okay, let's just look at number 5. Oh, it's so much. It's actually interesting in this part of the problem. There are some of the numbers that are directly transferred to the accounts. What? Okay. Compensated absences expense equals 181,300. Compensated absences payable 181,300. And then they used that amount, so decreased the compensated absences payable, and then you split it into 3 different parts. Wages payable, due to red government, due to green government. So take the total compensated absences, and what's the percentages? We have 10. Actually, take 20% of it, right? And 10% is going to be 10% is going to be that, and 10% is going to be that one. Wait, there's 2 different governments. There's red and green government. Okay, I think green government is the state government and red is the federal government. Okay, at least I get that. There's not too much complicated math going on here. But then there's going to be complicated math for the wages expense because is it just 302 times 12? Wait just a second here. Wait, why is this so straightforward whereas the other one is like completely random? What? Oh, I think I know why. Maybe it's because of the complications of the fact that the other one is is a governmental fund, whereas this one is like normal accounting, so it's better. Like normal accounting is just simpler. By rule, it has to be simpler than governmental accounting, so therefore it's going to be easier. 302, 165 times 12. Oh no, it didn't add up to the amount. Dang, how is that even possible? How did you get 3224115? I have no idea. Okay, so I guess it's not as simple as I thought. So I have no freaking clue how they're getting those numbers. Where did they get the 3224115? I do not know. Is it going to be 14 months? Because it's 2 months in addition? Because we didn't do 2 additional months earlier in this enterprise fund. 14 times 302, 165. Nope, that's way too much, so I don't know where they're getting this number. Oh wait, I'm an idiot. My number was initially too big. How is that? I mean, aren't you supposed to use this 302, 165 for something? I don't even know what that number is for. What? What? They literally have it as due to red government and due to green government. What? Well, okay, so where are they getting the 3224 thing? Do you have to go back to the previous problem? You might literally have to go back to the previous fund to figure out the other numbers. That's just awesome. That's just so great. I'm totally not looking at this at all. Okay, where's my pen? Number 6. And don't look at number 6. Oh, I saw supplies. Gosh dang it. Dude, what if he does a debt service fund and he basically copies all the questions from the debt service fund? And I could just put no entry for all of them and get 4 out of 5. That would be so dumb if that was the test. That would be. Like, imagine if he's just like, he just does like a random selection of the funds and just so happens to choose the debt service fund, and then he literally copies the questions except changes the numbers. Then you could just get a 4 out of 5 for free by just saying no entry for every single one. In fact, I don't know if he's going to have any questions on the test where it's no entry. Anyways. Number 6. During the year, the BCWLP purchased $2.2 million in supplies and paid this much off before fiscal year end. So, increase the supplies by this amount, and then accounts payable. Easy, because it's just regular accounting. Accounts payable, cash. That was easy. That was so easy. Number 7. Number 7. During 11 months of the fiscal year, the parking lot had utility costs of this per month payable to this fund. Okay, so what we do, the county? What do you mean the county paid off the amount? Wait a minute. Oh, I'm dumb. So anyways, what you do for this is that we're going to have, is it operating revenue again? Is it due? It's not due from parking fund, is it? Because, I don't know, let's just look at the answer. I was exactly correct. Multiply 2,000 times 12 to get the 22,000. I mean 11, because it's 11 months. Due from parking fund operating revenue. That's awesome. But actually, we need to figure out the other part of it, which is the county had paid off $18,000 of this amount. So, I mean, let me just go for it here. Debit, cash, credit due from parking fund. Easy. That was fun. Number 8. Decide to build a new office building. Okay, this is just regular old accounting. Aren't enterprise funds so fun? Yeah. They decided to build a new office building. Okay, here's what we do. What do we do here? Well, first of all, we increase building, and then we increase payable. What the heck is that? What? That's so weird. That is totally not at all what we do in normal accounting. Because what on earth is retainage payable? Are you serious? Okay, I think I understand it now. So instead of putting it all in accounts payable, it's actually going to be, and then just do decrease accounts payable and then cash, and that's it. Okay, so office building, accounts payable, retainage payable, accounts payable, cash. Number 9. So yep, this is what you were missing in the 3 hours, but that was just showing my face the whole time. Just showing the picture of my face the whole time. This is the fun stuff you were missing, staring at this screen. Uh-oh. Oh, never mind. Number 9, the BCLP identified this much in uncollectible accounts receivable related to its residents and wrote this amount off. Okay, so don't you just say allowance for uncollectible accounts receivable and then accounts receivable? Yay! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Nice. That's fine. And inventory identified $25,000 in supplies left on hand at the end of the year. And this is annoying because you have to go back and figure out what the amount of supplies was at the beginning. That was one I remember from class, which I did not like at all. Okay, first of all, and also I tried doing it. It was like super counterintuitive the way he did it in class as well. I have to look at this. Come on. It's on the back. Where is it? I have to go grab this stinking thing. Let's see here. Supplies. No, this is not the right paper. Ooh, is it this one? It is on the page I was reading still. Are you kidding me? This was a waste of time. Right? How is the supplies not on the first few questions? It actually is on the back of this. Wait, no, it's not on the back of it. I didn't need to. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. It was back in number 6. Okay, here's what we do. What do we do in normal accounting? And this question is, is that what they do in this accounting? Okay, so they purchased this much in supplies. Okay, but the question is, how much supplies did they have? I mean, don't you just do 2.2 million minus 25,000? Like, okay, let me just look at this. Where on earth did they get the number? Yes, that's literally exactly what they did. I don't know what I was talking about. That's all they did is subtract that number from the 2.2 million. Supplies expense and decrease supplies. Easy. That's just normal accounting. Why am I overthinking it? Number 11. On November 30th, it accrued annual interest due on its outstanding bonds. And now I have to go back to the earlier part of the question. So yet again, I have to go look at this paper. State. That's fine. Accrued interest, annual interest due on its outstanding bonds. So it's from number 1. It doesn't even say what the interest rate is. It just says what the payment will be next year. But that's the amount that's going to be accrued anyways, right? So accrued annual interest. So it's just going to be $250,000 of interest. So we're going to have interest, $250,000 interest expense and interest payable. Oh, come on. How is it not the full $250,000? What the heck? Are you kidding me? Where did you get that number? Oh, Not cool. This is confusing. Where did they get 229, 167? Well, interest expense. They didn't even. How? What is that? What is that? I mean, they did say that there's the 3% interest. Is that how you calculate it? 3% of 2.5 million. What is 3% of 2.5 million? Oh, actually, never mind. Wait. Yes. No, that's only 75,000. What on earth? How? What is that? Do you multiply 2.5 times something? How? Do I have that? It's the second Blue County. Where did you get that number? How did you get that number? Hello? I'm looking at number one. This is where. I mean, it clearly says what the next year's payment's going to be. What the heck is that? Which number is it? 11? What? No! Where'd you get the number 229? Why didn't I write out where I got that number? I mean, did he write down his calculation for that? I highly doubt it. Gosh. Blue County part of Blue County answers. I mean, there's no way he wrote the calculation for that, right? He didn't. What the heck is that? What? Why is it 229? 167. What is that? Well, I'm completely screwed on that one. Yeah, I'll just put a star by it. It's just impossible. I don't know how to do that. Come on. What is that? What is that? It didn't even say the interest rate. How am I supposed to even calculate the interest? All they told you was the bond payment for next year. Wait a minute. Oh, it's only 11 months of it. So do you just take 11/12ths of 250? Because it was issued on January 1st, which is actually only 11 months. It's going to end up being 11 months, not 12 months. Oh my gosh, dude, it is that. I figured out why it was 229,167. It's because it's not a full year. It's only 11/12ths of the year. Oh, I got it. Nice. Okay, number 12. On November 30th, recorded annual depreciation. You know what's freaking funny? They bought the plant 11 months ago. So you only use 11 months of depreciation. It's going to be depreciation expense, accumulated depreciation. I can do the calculation. I don't need to worry about this one. This is easy. It's just going to be 2.5 million. Wait, how many assets do we have? We have the plant asset. What else? Is there any other assets we have here? Oh, they bought an office building. Well, this is fun. We have an office building and we have the plant. Power plant. We have the plant asset and we have the office building. Are you going to combine the two? Oh, we have it separate. Well, we separated it out. So first we'll calculate the other one, 2.5 million divided by 10. We have 250,000, of course, times 11 divided by 12 equals 229,167. And then the other one is the office building, which is that 20-year lifespan, 865,000 divided by 20 times 11 divided by 12 is 39,646. Did I mess that up? How did I mess that up? How on earth did I mess that up? I was completely off. Divided by 20. Times 11 divided by 12. How am I so incredibly off? How did they get 3,604? That makes no sense. I got like 39,000. How? What on earth? What? 865 divided by 20. Like, even if I use the reduced number of 632, that's still not going to be close. Each year, I'm such a moron. It's not 11 months. It's only, they bought it on February. It's 10 months. It's still not going to be close. It's still not going to be close at all. It's gonna be 10 months instead, right? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Dude, there's no delete button on here? Where's the delete button on this calculator? On Earth. Dude, there's no delete button on this calculator. Who would have thought? Seriously? How? How have I never had to delete something? How am I blind? How do I not see the delete button? What? I don't understand. It was right there. 865,000 divided by 20 equals this, times 10 divided by 12, 360. What? Why am I getting such random numbers here? This is weird. The times 10 divided by 12. What? I still got, wait, what did I do differently before? Now I'm down to 36,000, which is not even close again. Did he make a mistake? He had to have made a mistake. It's supposed to be 36041 or 042, not 3,604. That has to be a mistake. Why are you dividing it by 10 again? It's 10 months out of 12. Like, I got a number that's exactly 10 times the amount that he got. That can't be right. That cannot be right, dude. How am I getting a number that's exactly 10 times more than his number? I mean, I did basically the same thing as the other calculation. $865,000 divided by 20. Yearly depreciation is 43,000, but it's only going to be 10/12ths of the year. There's no way. He has to have made a mistake there. He has to. He's literally off by a factor of 10. Exactly a factor of 10. That has to be a mistake. What the heck? Times 10 divided by 12, 36,041.67, and he got 3,604. Well, I'm just going to assume he made a mistake. Because where am I missing dividing by 10? That doesn't make any sense. Did he accidentally say it was... No? Anyways, number 13. 90-day note payable. Again, you're just going to do... And it's also going to be all current, right? Is it all current? Even though it's at literally the last day of the year? No, idiot. That's not how current works. Cash, no payable. Yes, but current. And that's it. Do I have any stars? Yes, it's on the payroll question. We have 1 star. I will gladly play the music while I'm gone because I don't like that music that much. That was fun. Jeez. It only took me 52 minutes. Only 52 minutes to do 13 of the questions. And I didn't do them, I just looked them over. Anyways, add 13 to this to get to 45. And then subtract 13, 21, 20, and 20, 19, 18. And 1 star. Only 1 star is the weight. It's the payroll question again. And I might literally just skip that one because it's an enterprise fund. But again, he might be like, maybe I'll do 1 enterprise fund and 1 governmental fund. Yippee! But if I was 100% sure he was only going to pick 1 fund, then I would totally bet on him not picking an enterprise fund. So, but again, I don't. He could have 2. Like at that one time, he said there was only going to be 1 fund, and then earlier today, when he was talking about how to study for the test, he kind of made it sound like there might be more than 1 fund, but I'm not sure. He said that you'd be kind of good if you'd be on the right track if you studied the Browntown questions, which would imply that it's going to be a governmental fund because both of them are governmental funds. So I don't know. That was funny. Anyways, I'll probably save the payroll question on this enterprise fund for last. Like that'll be the last thing I study. Even it's very unlikely I will study it. In fact. Anyways. So we have completed that. Now we want to do the debt service fund, and I remember from the debt service fund that most of the answers is no entry, and one of them is an entry. So we have to figure out which one it is. I already remember it's number 4. So, why? This is too easy. Most of the debt service fund ones are nothing. Why? On January 1st, the county purchased a building valued at this much and equipment valued at this from a local developer. The building has an expected usage life of 10 years with no salvage value, and the equipment. To purchase the building, the government issued bonds payable on each successive January 1st for the next 10 years. Okay, this event does not require a journal entry at the fund level because bond principal and interest due is not recorded in the debt service governmental fund until it is due or due within 1 month, if so chosen by the government. Okay. Now, I think what he means by that is that doesn't require a journal entry at the debt service fund level, in the debt service fund specifically, right? I don't know. Oh, you know what? I think that is correct entirely, because if you purchase a building, issue bonds. Wait a minute. Yeah, but wouldn't there be a journal entry for issuing bonds payable? Anyways, on January 1st, well, that entry would just be a government-wide entry, apparently. The county purchased a water and power plant. Dude, number 2 is exactly the same as 1, pretty much. This event does not require a journal entry at the fund level because bond principal and interest in enterprise funds. Oh, wait a minute. This is different somehow. Bond principal and interest in enterprise funds is accounted for within the enterprise fund itself. And in the other one, when they bought something else. Number 3. Issued general obligation bonds totaling $5 million at par to fund construction of the new school. Bond proceeds. Bond proceeds. How am I supposed to know that's bond proceeds? Bond proceeds is recorded in Capital Projects Fund. Come on. And I remember number 4 is the only one that has an entry. As of November 30th, the county had transferred $25,000 in cash into the debt service fund. Well, that's pretty simple. It's going to be cash transfer in. The remainder of the cash in the school construction fund was received. What? Was received by what? Was received by what? Wait, where's the school construction fund? That's not even mentioned at all in any of the previous questions. Dude, there's a school. Dude, in number 5, they call something the school construction fund, and then literally the very next fund is the school project fund. Are those two the same? Okay, was received by what? That is worded very poorly, in my opinion. I wonder if that would be something is it say it was received into the debt service fund? But it was after the end of the year, so therefore no entry? It doesn't explain it. Well, that was confusing. Anyways, that's another 5. 50. We're up to 50. We only have 13 more. Holy crap. We only have 13 more. Wow. School project fund. And I see all the entries for this. It covers less than half of a page. I feel like we're getting close. Man, I wonder how well I have prepared. I have actually increased my odds on this test just from all the studying I've done today. Because before today, I hadn't even looked at the 63 questions that I have showing on the notepad. Now I've looked at 50 out of the 63. And also the remaining 13 from the top side one I did yesterday took me 5 hours. Yes, it took me 5 hours because I studied it very thoroughly. Plus, it's not just 13 questions; it's actually additional stuff in it too. It's like double the amount of work, that maybe even more. Plus, like, I studied it in more depth than this. Like, I actually went through all 13 questions like 5 times total. And on the 5th time, I actually answered all the questions by myself without even looking at the answer key. And then I checked it, and they were all correct. And I also did the whole conversion process, and I only got one single thing wrong, which was to forget to record the accumulated depreciation from the internal service fund. That was fun. And then watch as I forget all that stuff, because it was 2 days before the test instead of 1 day. Ha! Funny. School project fund. I still have to go through those stars. That's gonna suck. That's really gonna suck. There's going to be at least one of those types of questions on the test, probably. What if I was just like, I'm too lazy. I'm just going to do all the easy stuff. So if I miss like a certain percent of the grade on the test due to not doing one of those complicated questions, then so be it. It's not that big of a deal, especially considering we have a ton of extra credit that we can get. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. The project that I have to do this weekend is worth 30% of my grade in the class. That was funny. School project. The county opened the school project fund when it began construction on the new school. Is school project fund a capital project fund? That was funny. The following transactions occurred during the fiscal year. On April 1st, the county transferred. I mean, the transferring ones are so easy. It's just cash transfer in. That's it. It's so easy. Thank you. I hope there's like 3 of those questions on the test. That's a realistic ask. Anyways, that's page 6. Page 7. Wow, we only have 2 pages left of questions to get through. Wow. The county issued general obligation bonds at par with an interest rate of 10% to fund construction of the new school. Okay, so because it's like a now we're back to a governmental fund, so what we would do is increase the cash by $5 million. But instead of saying bonds payable, we would actually say bond proceeds. Oh, I was correct, but I got worried for a sec because it actually says other financing source bond proceeds. Whereas in the other one, it just said bond proceeds. Well, they're the same thing. I wonder if he's going to make us say other financing sources. But yeah, it's other financing sources, bond proceeds. Oh, I accidentally saw the answer to number 3. Of course. No entry. You've got to be kidding me. Entered into an agreement to build a school. Yeah, no, obviously no entry for that. But I guess, would that be an entry in the budgeting? County or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Number 4. Wow, we only have one more in the school project fund. Not bad. Dang it. The parking fund has 9 questions. Gosh dang it. Is the parking fund another enterprise fund? I think it was messed up. Or, the only 2 enterprise funds in this whole thing are the utilities and the parking lot. Anyways. By November 30th, the county had received and paid progress billings totaling $2.5 million from the contractor. What do I do here? Would that be from the dang it. What do I do here? Would this be like capital outlay? I don't know. Because they're building a school. Well, they're paying a contractor to build a school. They're not. Because normally if you build an asset, you would increase the asset for normal accounting. If you pay somebody to build the asset, you would also increase the asset. But because it's a governmental fund, instead it would be a capital outlay, right? Okay, first of all, let me just guess that the first entry is cash capital outlay. Oh, wait, no. Yes. Holy crap, I was wrong. It's not cash. How is it not cash? It says it paid it. Come on, dude. It says it paid it. Dang it. They did it in 2 separate steps. They did accounts payable and then they did accounts payable cash. Why would you do that? It says paid. That seems like an unnecessary step. There's a few confusing things on this that I might just miss just because of that. Like, what the heck is this? Why would you do accounts payable and then accounts payable cash? Well, when do you do 5.2 minus 2.5? Change orders. So would you do, what is 5.2 minus 2.5? That would be 2,700,000. And then, okay, let me just do it with my calculator. Jeez. Okay, so technically they owe 2.7 million plus 275,000. They paid the amount. They should have paid 2,975,000. Oh, but that was paid on that was paid after the year end. So does that not count? So actually, wait a minute. How this doesn't make okay, hold on a second. I know it's close to the end of the year, but does that really matter? Does that matter? That it was paid within, shouldn't that just be next year's entry? Ah, come on, man. I hate everything. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh, I was correct. Number 4. Thank you. So all the extra stuff that happened after the year end is not even recorded. Fun. Let's go, dude. Oh, closing entry. What do let me think about this. Maybe I can come up with my own closing entry. I need to figure out what. Okay, I have it all in front of me. Transfer in is going to be canceled. Bond proceeds is going to be canceled. Capital outlays will be canceled. And canceled. That's it. Transfer in, other financing source, and capital outlays. And then the difference. Is the difference just going to be unassigned fund balance? Or not unassigned? Well, that's my best guess. Crap, it's restricted. Okay. That's going to be some really confusing thing I need to kind of look over. If I really want to get the closing entry correct on the test, I really need to figure out that restricted fund balance. Transfers in, bond proceeds, capital outlays. Difference is restricted fund balance. Well, because it's the capital projects, does that mean it's restricted? Whereas the general fund is like unrestricted. Maybe that's really all I need to remember is it's a capital projects fund, therefore it's restricted, whereas the general fund one is a unrestricted. So anyways, that was another 5 completed. Or actually no, 4, because I didn't count a closing entry in this. So anyways, that's 4 complete. We only have 9 left. Oh my gosh. And then this stupid idiotic payroll problem and whatever the other problems were. Parking fund. Fund. Oh wait, how is there 8? I should have 9. Really? How did I count this wrong? Serious? How did I count this wrong? I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed that I counted it wrong. Are you kidding me? There's only 8 questions in the parking fund. That school project fund. 4. What am I doing wrong here? Did I accidentally do 4 on the last one? No, it was at 45, and then gosh dang it, dude. Well, apparently I've completed 55. Either that, I don't know where I messed up the counting. Gosh dang it, man. I'm sure I didn't count any closing or opening entries for the Blue County problems. I don't know. I don't know if I'm actually going to stay up until 2. I don't know how long those star problems are going to take. And I'm probably not going to even be bothered to study all the questions again. Like, maybe I'll try to look around and look at, like, the fund balance entries, because I'm kind of confused by those. But other than that, I'm probably just going to not study any of the questions again. Oh my gosh. Let's see how well I do on the Perking Fund, which should be an enterprise fund, right? Well, this is annoying. Can it just please go in order? Cash is going to be debited 25,000. Oops. Land, of course it's not in order. Accounts receivable is the next one. Wait, how? Where is accounts receivable? I don't see it. Oh, really? Why can't you just put it in order? Accounts receivable 1254. Why don't they have land? Oh my gosh, they do have land. It's just weird the way they put it there. Land is all the way down here at 75,000. Accounts payable for 2,000 is right here. Oh, what? What? They have multiple. They have to have listed multiple accounts payable, right? What on earth? How did they... Wait a minute. I love this question because look at this. They have accounts payable of 2,000, and then later on in the question, accounts pay 1,783 of accounts payable. Why did you just split it into two different accounts payable? Anyways, they just combined the two accounts payable there. What else? We have land improvements of 100,000. Unfortunately, we're gonna screw ourselves by having to do. Oh, come on! Wait, where's land improvements? Site improvements 100,000. Now we have to depreciate it. Oh, they already gave us the appreciation. 10,000 of incurred depreciation. Accounts receivable of 1,254. We already did that one. And then a corresponding allowance for doubtful accounts. So you credit allowance for doubtful accounts 987. 3,000 due to the general fund is basically an accounts payable, so due to general fund 3,000, and the remaining balance was not restricted. So all you have to do is to make the whole equation balance, and the account will be unrestricted fund balance. And I can now die in a hole. It's not unrestricted fund balance. It's net position, and it's two different net positions. Why? Oh wait, I'm an idiot. This is an enterprise fund. This is an enterprise fund. So therefore, instead of fund balance, it's actually net position, unrestricted. But actually, there's net investment in capital assets. What? Why is that? Where did you get that 165? What the heck? What the heck? I think the net position unrestricted is the plug figure, but what the heck is the 165? What is that? I have no idea how you get that. What on earth? Is it going to be the $100,000 of site improvements plus the land valued at $75,000 minus the depreciation? That must be what it is. Jeez. Okay, well, the net investment in capital assets, why do you have to separate that out? Why? Okay. Well, yeah, like I'm going to remember that on the test. They took the land and the land improvements, which are the capital assets that are listed. Then they subtracted the depreciation, and there's your 165. Dang it, I saw it too. Users paid cash to the park during the year. Enterprise fund. What? And I bet it's not going to be called operating revenue. Because of course it's not. Why is the utility company called the proceeds? I mean, the revenue is called operating revenue, and I bet that they're going to call this something else. They're going to call it like fees or something like that. Anyways, cash and whatever the heck the other one is. Never mind, it's operating revenue. Okay. Okay, there was one random fund where you had to show fees. I think that may have been the general fund. Yeah, the general fund had a bunch of fees, whereas this one, it just calls it operating revenue. So at least that's one difference I've seen between the funds. So it kind of turns out I probably didn't even need to read the textbook at all for that first hour that I spent reading the textbook. It didn't really help me. I don't know, maybe learned something from it. During the year, users incurred this much in new accounts receivable, with an estimated this and this amount being uncollectible. Pretty simply, you're going to say you have accounts receivable of this amount, and then you have the difference between this and this. Wait just a second. No, that's two separate entries. The difference between this number and this number is going to be called uncollectible accounts receivable. Hey, it's actually called allowance for doubtful accounts receivable. This is so fun. This is just so fun. Why is it different? Dude, in the other enterprise fund, it was called allowance for uncollectible accounts receivable. And this one is called allowance for doubtful accounts receivable. Are you serious? They're the same thing. And then the difference. What? Dude, that is a giant amount. That's not even the difference. The number that they gave, that was 2.3 thousand, was actually the amount that's uncollectible. Most of it is uncollectible. Why? So anyways, the difference between that would be the operating? No, wait, what? Revenue? Yep. And then payments were made of... Therefore, you're going to have accounts receivable, cash. Oh, come on, why am I stupid? It's cash accounts receivable, you stupid. Okay. Anyways, that's 3. The county wrote off uncollectible accounts. So therefore, allowance for doubtful accounts receivable. Accounts receivable. Number 5. The county's general government employees It's funny. I learned an entire 2 months worth of material in 2 days. Although I didn't really learn all of it. I learned as much as I possibly could, but there's no way I learned all of it. There's no way. I wonder how I'm going to do on this test. It really is all going to hang on which fund he chooses and how many of the complicated questions he decides to put on the test. I hope it's just like one complicated question. And I hope it's one of the ones I end up figuring out how to do. In fact, I kind of already know how to do one of the complicated questions. Or maybe even 2 or 3 of them, which is the whole ordeal with like collecting taxes and then the fact that you include the first 2 months of the next year's taxes or something. So the only song in a minor key is the stereotypical Arabian song. That was funny. Or Middle Eastern, I guess, is what you would consider. I don't know. Uh-oh. Well, crap, another payroll question. You've got to be kidding me. I hate this so much. I hate this. Come on, man. There's not too much to it, actually. Let me just look at this. Come on, let me just figure this out. There's not too much to this particular question. Perform services valued at $3,000 every month. This amount was paid by the parking fund on the 5th day of the subsequent month. Okay, so are we just going to compute 11 months of it or something? No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, I remember what happened before, but of course it's not the same thing. Of course it's not. They just calculated 12 months. Like, what? This is just 12 months. Like, when do I do the 11-month thingy, and when do I do the 12-month thingy? Like, what? Okay, is it because it's an enterprise fund? It has to be because it's an enterprise fund. Dude, gosh, it's. They don't care about the 5 when they pay it. They just say wages expense due to general fund. What? Due to general fund? What on earth? What would that normally be? It would normally be like wages payable. But no, it's due to general fund. Why? Okay, well, it's because they don't pay the employees directly. The parking lot fund will pay the general fund the amount, and then apparently the general fund will pay the employees due to general fund cash. That was so fun. I guess I'm not putting a star on it. Thank goodness. The county paid off its accounts payable at November 30th. Okay, this question is worded very poorly. Paid off its accounts payable. Oh, I have to figure out what all the accounts payable is. Gosh dang it, dude. Well, I mean, don't I just look through and see where's the accounts payable? Okay, first of all, the first part of it is look through this and see where's the accounts payable. We have a 3,783 right here. Oh, that's it. That's all that's listed here, right? It's just 3,783. Of course it's not. Why? Why is it 5,000? Okay, they did this out of order. Why did they do the second part of the questions first? There's an additional 2,000 of it somewhere. Where am I missing it? Oh, never mind. It was the utilities. So we have an accounts payable number 1 for 3,783, and we have accounts payable number 6 for 2,000. So you just pay those off easy enough. The other part of it is paid its December utilities. So utilities expense accounts payable. What is that? It says it paid it off. Why would it be accounts payable? That doesn't make sense. It should be cash. It says they literally paid it. Wait, shouldn't that be a prepaid expense? Oh, dude, they didn't even incur expense for that year. I don't get it. Why would they do that? Why would they incur expense and accounts payable? That's the exact opposite of what just happened. They prepaid an expense. Shouldn't it just be prepaid expense cash? I mean, that's what normal accounting would be, wouldn't it? But instead, they're like, utilities expense, accounts payable, even though they paid it. And it's not even this year's utilities expense. What? Are you kidding me? This is so weird. Why? That's so dumb. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Did I misread this whole question? Yeah, because it's worded poorly, dude. This question is worded so poorly. I think what they are talking about is they didn't pay the next year's utilities. They paid the last year's utilities expense. Wait. No, that can't be right. What? Oh, the 5,000. Oh, okay. Uh, Man, this question is worded so poorly. I'm trying to wrap my head around it still after like 5 minutes. The other accounts payable that I was missing was because it was literally in that question. I think the December utilities that they're talking about is literally just the no, not last year's. It's this year's December, but it's so confusing because their fiscal year starts in December. Thanks a lot, Professor. Why would you do that? Making everything so confusing. The December utilities, they're not paying the next December's utilities. They're paying the December from last year. But it's actually still this year's December, this fiscal year's December. So anyways, they incurred expense of this year, and then they paid off their previous payable and this utilities payable. Okay, finally, geez, it took forever. For the remaining 11 months of the fiscal year, the parking lot had utility costs of $2,000 per month. 2,000 times 11 is 22,000. So their utility expense would be 22,000, and accounts payable. Oh, come on! Instead of accounts payable, I hate my life. The reason why it's literally the exact same accounts payable, except the only reason they changed the name is because last year the utility was owned by a private company, and this year it's owned by the government. So they changed the name due to BCWLP fund. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Due to fund cash. And is that it? No. Closing entries. I hate closing entries. Okay. Shouldn't there just be one entry for 8? Wait, how does this go back? Holy crap! I just realized there's depreciation because it's an enterprise fund. Wait, we didn't do depreciation for the other fund, did we? For the other enterprise fund? Oh, we did. And the other fund didn't even have any closing entries. I don't know why. So calculate depreciation. I know how to calculate depreciation. I'm not even going to try. Net position? Why? There's 2 more entries here. Okay, actually this depreciation expense affects the net position? What? Dude, there's no way I'm gonna remember all this stuff. There's no way. It's just all the stuff that I'm confused by is just accumulating until there's like 15 different questions where I'm like so confused by it. There's no way I'm gonna remember all that. They deleted the net investment in capital. So when the depreciation happens, I think I understand it. So whenever you have the capital assets, because I remember the opening entry had net position investment in capital assets. And that, to get to that number, you had to subtract 10,000. Well, you subtract another 10,000 from it at the end of the year and move it to net position unrestricted. And then we have closing entries. We have our revenues and expenses, and then we have unrestricted. Okay, I'm not even going to bother with that. So anyways, and apparently we're done. Somehow, like, I maybe should have put some more stars in there, but I mean, I technically understood everything. It's just that I might not remember it all. Well, it's only 9:36 p.m. Well, I still have to go through the stars. I mean, I should go through them. Do I really want to just skip them? And that's almost going to guarantee that I get something completely wrong on the test. Like, it's almost guaranteed one of those star questions is going to be on the test. What if I just studied the general fund and just bet on the fact that he was going to put the general fund on the test because it's like the most important fund? First, study the star questions and the fact that he said that it would be a good idea to study the Browntown questions. Man, it'd be just so nice to go to bed right now instead of doing those star questions. Can I just get a good night's sleep, please? How many more hours do I have left? According to my original plan, 10, 11, 12, 1. 4.5 hours, probably just like 4 hours because I would stop at 1:30. 4 hours left. Can I actually do another 4? And how many points can I substantially increase my grade by studying for another 4 hours? You know, one thing's for sure. There's no way I'm getting less than a 50% on that test now. There's no way. But guess what? If I get a 50% on the test, that means my grade in the class will automatically go down by 10% because the test is worth 20% of my grade. So, yeah. Yep, this test is worth 20% of my grade in the class. That's great. Hey, my cube actually feels kind of good right now. Why can't I just do a cubing session? Oh wait, it's 9 p.m. Even if I had no homework, I'd probably just go to bed. I have to get up at 5. Yeah, I'm already going to get less than... Even if I was to go to bed right now, I would get less than 8 hours of sleep. That's funny. It's just going to be such a pain if he gives us a payroll question. Maybe I should just do one of... Yeah, but all the payroll questions are completely different from each other. They're just all completely random. I don't even understand why they're all different. Just why? Why? What? What? Dude. I think the reason is because the general fund is like the one that pays the employees or something. And then the other funds like pay the general fund. And then the general fund pays the employee. Like, it's so confusing. Man, I did not think I'd actually be able to study for this test. It's still going to be very, very iffy on the multiple choice part of the test because of the fact that I didn't really read the book. I could completely bomb that part of the test. I mean, it shouldn't be worth stressing over these star questions. There's literally only 5 of them. That's not that bad. 5 questions? 5? Only 5? Oh, that should be easy. Oh, man. And one of them, the first one is actually just one single calculation. Well, not one single calculation, but it's like... Okay, let's see here. I might be able to... Oh, you know what? The first star question is not a payroll question. It's the one question where I think I might actually know how to solve it. In fact, maybe I should just skip it because I think I know how to solve it. I don't know. Let's see. Number 3. It's actually just part of number 3. That's weird. It's not even the full question of number 3. Where did I get 208? Let me just look over the entirety of 3. No. Can I just try to do number 3 without looking at the answer? Levied property tax. Property tax receivable. Seven. Right? Gosh dang it. The 222,000 is going to be uncollectible property tax. Uncollectible property taxes. This is the general fund, by the way. The difference, right? We're just going to have the difference be right here. And that's gonna, that doesn't even look right. That's gotta be right, come on. Property tax, revenue. I'm just gonna do the entire question. I mean, this is literally what I have to do on the test. I mean, if we have a specific question. They collected a certain amount of taxes. So therefore, cash, they collected 606. They collected this cash. And what you do here is property tax receivable. Is it property tax or property taxes? I don't freaking know, dude. Who cares? I bet he wouldn't take any points off if he said tax instead of taxes. Write off uncollectible taxes. So uncollectible and then property tax receivable now. Here is this whole thing over here. So I remember doing this in class on the day that we did this problem myself, which is so weird because I had no freaking clue what I was doing, but I actually was kind of doing it correctly. So you take the amount of taxes that you expect to collect, then you subtract the amount that you actually collected. So equals this minus this. So now, how did that happen? How the heck did that just happen? What the heck? I don't know what that was. Anyways, now you expect to have 918,000, or you have 918,000 that you need still. I don't know what. So this is the amount that's estimated as collectible at the end of the year. Now you take 2 months, subtract another 2 months of taxes you expect to collect. Or no, calculate the amount of taxes that's 2 months and then subtract it from that amount. And then that number will be unavailable taxes or something like that. So anyways, so it's just going to be that number times 2, right? You just do that number times 2. So equals 279,500 times 2. And then you subtract equals this minus this. Oh, come on. Why is this? No. I remember this is the answer. How? Dude, this. I'm going to. On one of them, you subtract it. On the other one, you don't? What? What is that? What is that? You've got to be kidding me. What? What on earth? Why? Why? This sucks. What? Come on. What? How did I get that? How? How did this happen? How? Oh, I messed up. I think we have to... Do we have to take into consideration the uncollectible property tax? Do we have to subtract the 208? I don't know if that's going to help. I don't think that's going to help. That's not going to do anything. Dude, I did the exact same procedure as the other question, and yet instead, what is going on here? What is going on? This is the exact same procedure. What? What? Did I get the right numbers for all the rest of them? No, I didn't. How? How did I not get the right answers here? 77,400,000? I'm such a moron. Are you kidding me? I just messed up my math. I think I just got the most unlucky thing to happen to me just now. I am stupid. I wrote 7.2 million instead of 7.4 million. How did I do that? How? Oh my gosh, dude. I got so unlucky with that. I literally got 559 and I thought something was totally screwed up. Dude, how did I get so unlucky with that? What? Okay, equals this minus this equals 279 500 times 2 equals this minus this, and there you go. Okay. And then what was the transaction again? Property tax revenue. You decrease property tax revenue and you increase property uncollected or unavailable property taxes. Yeah, like I'm going to remember to do that. That was 1 star. Four. I guess I'll scratch it off here. Now we have to finally do the stupid payroll thingy. Dang it. And in terms of that, I'm going to have to look at the answer and see what the heck he did. And in fact, I don't have any calculations. I'm going to have to figure it out myself, kind of. But I'm going to have to think my way through it and try to solve it myself and see if I get his numbers. Man, I really hope we get that one calculation that I just did for this one right here. I really hope we get this instead of the payroll question. Come on. Chances are he's just going to give us all the hard questions. Oh my gosh. Do I have to calculate 12 months? Wait a minute. No. That doesn't make sense. 11 months. Do we have to calculate? Aren't we just going to calculate? Are we going to? Well, wouldn't it just be 12 months anyways? Because we're going to also pay last year's we're going to pay last month, right? I don't know. It's so freaking funny how not a single number in the answer is in the question. I don't think a single one is. How on earth did that happen? And I even multiplied all those numbers by 12. Oh wait, what if you add up all three of those numbers? Wait, let's add up those three numbers and see what we get. We have 139,500. 389, 498. Please tell me that's somewhere on here. Nope. Wait, what were those three again? General operations. Public safety. Wait, are we at the end of this thing? There's no freaking way. We already got through this whole playlist. That went by so fast. What the heck? General operations. Public safety. Is this even on here? Do they even consider these? Is that just a red herring or something? Because like those three things are not mentioned anywhere. What the heck? I mean, I'm going to calculate all those three things times 12 and see what I get. Or maybe times 11. I mean, I got to get one of these numbers at some point. Like, seriously. And what would it be under? I mean, we have payroll, vacation. Oh, I see them. Finally, I'm stupid. General government, public safety, and education. Dude. Never mind, I'm dumb. 17. Okay, so we have that, and now let's multiply it by 12. So let's just go equals this times this, and we got. Is that a number on here? I thought I saw it, but no, it's not. So that's not appearing. That number's not appearing anywhere. How about we multiply it by 11? I think it may appear though. And what do you know, folks? We got one of the numbers. Let's go. We got one of the numbers. Are we going to multiply these by 11 as well? Oh, man, what? How are we not getting these numbers? Dude, we got 1.6. What? Wait a minute, we're going to multiply these by 12? And we did not get the numbers. 12 and 11 both were not correct. So how did that happen? What the heck? Wait just a minute here. Do we subtract the 64,000? 64,900. No, subtract vacation. Where's the vacation? How do we get the vacation amount? I think these numbers are what the heck? I'm actually literally coming up with the numbers that were in the answer. So where's vacation here? Now it's either going to be this or that. Is it the earned vacation or the used vacation days? Let's first try. Oh, wait. Oh, let's divide the vacation days by 3. So we have 194,700 divided by 3 equals this divided by 3. And we got the number. Holy crap. We got 64,900, which is one of the numbers. And therefore, we will undo. Subtract the 64,900 from this and see if that gets us somewhere. And we have gotten another number. We're making progress. Look at this. We're doing it. It's funny, I'm working backwards from the answer. I'm literally just doing a bunch of calculations until I get the numbers there on the answer. It's actually working. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. Dude. Okay, so I've gotten the general government payroll, general government education. I've literally gotten like the that giant bug that just flew right in front of my face. I've literally gotten like more than half of the entry now. Okay, so now do you just add up all those numbers and then add up all the numbers I have highlighted, divide, and then multiply it by 20%. Okay, so now we're going to put this equals literally all of this, this, and this. We have 6 numbers, just all 6 of them. What? Holy freaking crap. Equals this, equals this, equals this. Now sum up all these numbers to get, that should equal the 3 million. Wait, no, it shouldn't. We should equal a number, and then we'll take away 20% of it to get. We'll do 80%. And what do you freaking know? We got another number! Wait, oh. How did we get a rounded number? I got a number that's literally 1 off from the answer. Come on. Come on, rounding errors. Are you kidding me? That's the professor's rounding error. Come on, man. I mean, it's got to be. I'm literally 1. My Excel calculations are exact. How is this even happening? How am I getting a number that's 1 off from his number? How? That's just got to be a mistake on his end. Like, seriously. Eight, 6. 8 plus 8 is 22. Okay, when I do the journal entry, I'll use my number and then I'll test it to see if it balances. And then we have clearly 10% of this equals 0.1 times this, and then getting that number again equals 0.1 times this. And we have literally calculated every number in, oh, no, we haven't. We still have, we have 2 journal entries. I've completed every single number for the first journal entry. And now we need the second journal entry. In the second journal entry, this number is used. Okay, so... Oh, I understand it now. The second journal entry. So this equals this. And then just take 20%, or take 80% of it again. Boom. That was funny. And we've gotten another number. And then take 10%. We'll just go like, whoops. And then this equals this. This equals this. Okay, whatever. 0.1. 0.1. We've done it. We've done it. We've done it. We did the payroll problem. We calculated every single number that is used in the entry for the payroll problem. I somehow did that. Oh my goodness. What? Now, which numbers was there any part of the problem that was a red herring? Let me see. Did I use the vacation days? Okay, so the red herring was the vacation days earned, right? The 233,700 was not used in the problem at all. That's kind of weird. And it's funny, I didn't even know which number to use. I just guessed the first number. Well, it was the first number, so I just went with it. And it was the correct one out of the two. The 200, the amount of earned vacation days is irrelevant, right? The incurred monthly costs, I multiplied those by 12, and then what did I do? Okay, and then I subtracted the vacation days earned. And how did I get the vacation days earned? Well, I took the total vacation days earned and divided it by 3 because it says they're split equally among the various functions, and then I subtracted the vacation days from the incurred costs, and you get the amount of payroll, and then in vacation, payroll, vacation, payroll, vacation, payroll, vacation. Wages payable, I took the total. Okay, so that one was kind of a cheesy way to do it. I took all of these and then multiplied it by 80%. No, I guess it's not that cheesy because payroll, vacation is basically just another form of payroll. It's just that you had to separately classify it. You're paying your employees all of this money. But they have to pay 20% in taxes, so you take away the 20% there, and then the 2 taxes are there. That's funny. Wages payable due to red government, due to green state. And how did I get the total amount of cash? I took the expenses incurred, multiplied it by 11, and got this number. Wait, is that just a fluke that I got the same number there? Oh, no, it's not a fluke. No. Weirdly enough, you're going to only pay 11 months worth of this year. You're only going you're only going to pay 11 months worth of it because why? And weirdly enough, you don't do anything in terms of sick leave. You do nothing with the sick leave. It's just not included at all. Man, I really don't feel like doing this whole thing again. Oh my gosh. So how did I get the payroll number? I took the incurred monthly costs, multiplied it by 12, and then I subtracted the vacation. And how did I get the vacation? I took the total vacation that was used, not earned, used, and divided it by 3 because it was equally split among the 3. So I subtracted that from each one of these to get this, the payroll, and then the vacation is going to be that, and then wages payable. How did I get that? Well, I added up all those numbers and then multiplied it by 80%. The remaining 20% will be evenly split due to red government and due to green state. Then you paid the employees. You paid everything. Oh, wait, no. You paid the employees on what day? What? Okay, so we're only paying 11 months. When you pay it, it's paying 11 months of stuff for some reason. Okay, the reason why it's 11, you're only paying 11 months of stuff is because, yeah, but wouldn't you also be paying the previous year's thing? Gosh dang it, dude, whatever. I don't care. I'm just going to memorize the fact that it's 11 months. So you take the full expenses, multiply it by 11 months to get the full amount of cash that you pay. But you, and then you again multiply it by 80%, and then you split it to the other stuff. You're paying the governments at the same time. You're paying the employees, and you're paying the taxes, and that's it. That's the whole entry. I'm not doing it again. I'm just going to hope I get it right if it's on the test. We've completed another star. And it's funny how all the payroll questions are completely different from each other, even though they seem the same. We have 3 stars left. Should I just take my pills now? I'm not going to stay up until 2. I just took my pill. That was funny. What's the next star? That's funny. It's got to be in the BCWLP fund, which is actually an enterprise fund. Uh-oh. Should I just skip the enterprise fund question? I don't know. He could. I mean, He could choose to give us two funds, one of which is an enterprise fund. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably going to complete all the stars. I guess I'll just do it. Because I almost feel like now that's a very real possibility that it's going to give us one enterprise fund and one governmental fund. It would make a lot of sense. Because those are like the two different types of accounting. Because the entire test is going to be literally all fund accounting, I guess, is what you would call it. We're not even doing government-wide accounting. We're just doing fund accounting, and then we're going to transfer it all to government-wide or something. But what on earth is that, though? Because there are certain government-wide transactions that do not affect individual funds. So why on earth wouldn't that be part of the test? I don't know. Number 5 was the star question. So anyways, what was number 5? It was the payroll thingy again, but it's even more confusing. Can I figure it out by myself? Probably not. Should I just throw the answer out here and just try to figure out the question myself? Why is this bug keep flying? Come on. It's like totally and completely different. It's so confusing. It's so confusing because it's literally like the same question as before. Except you do completely different stuff because it's a completely different fund. The bug just flew on my glasses. Come. Oops. I need 2 pages. Number 5 is literally the exact same question, except now do the accounting from the perspective of the BCWLP fund. What the heck? Why is this so confusing? That was funny. Why? It's like they're the same question, but it's 2 completely different answers because it's 2 different funds. Here, I think I'm just going to look at the answer. I have no clue what to do. Man. Am I just going to have to, do all... How many payroll questions are there total anyways? Well, I can probably come up with all these numbers. Well, actually, the 181,300 is directly from the question, because of course it is. And of course, it's literally the one number that wasn't used in the previous question is now not only used in this question, it's just directly put into the journal entry. Come on! Come on! They have compensated absences expense. Compensated absences payable is the one singular number that was not used in the previous question, is now used in this question. And the 99,700 is also used. Wasn't that great? And then they do that, and then they take the 99,700, get rid of the payable because they paid it. They paid that amount, and then they split it between the taxes and whatnot. And then they have wages expense. And where did they get the wages expense? Is that 11 months again? That's got to be 11 months. 11 times 302, 190. 302 times. Okay, 302, 165, and then. Multiplied by 11 equals. Of course I didn't get the right number. Of course. How? The numbers they have are 3.2 million and 2.7 million. So, and for some reason they're not even showing vacation days. What the heck? Do you subtract? Are you going to subtract the vacation days? If you subtract 99 from this, are you going to get the number? Holy crap, you are. 99,700. Yep, got the number. That's one of the numbers used in the answer. So there you go. Then do the stinking 80% thingamajig. I'm not even going to bother with that. I think I know how to do that now. I've done it like 5 times. And then we have, and then the next one is really confusing because now, why on earth are you only paying this much? Like, I literally times it by 11 and got that number. Okay, so this journal entry is wages expense. That's 11 months of wages expense minus the vacation or compensated absences. So this is kind of like equivalent. Would you say that this is equivalent to the previous one where we had payroll and vacation, whereas now it's wages expense and compensated absence expense? But why the heck is it now going down even more? What's the difference between that number and the amount that was paid? I need to figure out what the difference between those numbers is. We're just going to put the 3, 0, 2, 1, 6, 4, 9, and then see what's the difference between those two numbers. Because I have no idea where they're getting this. 202. What is that? Like, let's see what equals this divided by this. Like, what is that? Exactly 94%. I still don't get it. I don't know where they're getting that number. Like, where are they getting the 3.0 million in cash? I just don't understand. That was funny. Where on earth? Oh wait, I think I might understand it now. Let's see here. Do you add up the wages expense plus the compensated absences expense? And then you take something away from that? What would you take away? It's already at 11. This one's already times 11. Would you take 11 times? Would you get rid of some of this compensated absences expense? What on earth? Where are they getting the 3.0 million? Where are they getting that? Come on. And all of this is also confusing to me because why don't they include the previous years? The last month of the last year's wages that they paid this year. Why don't they include that? We already multiplied that by 11 and then subtracted that to get the 322 24 115. So how are we taking away even more? What is going on here? We already subtracted the 99,700. There's like 200 unaccounted for. I don't get it. Come on. Come on. Gotta be kidding me. You've gotta be kidding me. So the total amount of wages payable is 2.5 million. Wait, so 2.5 million. Wait a minute. So are you taking 11/12 of that 2.5 million? Maybe that's what that is. Oh my gosh, dude. We have 2,579. Well, first of all, let's take this number times 80% equals this times this, and then we'll take this number times 11/12. You know, I got whatever, equals this times this. Oh, how did I not get... I was supposed to get 2.4 million. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. No, the real number that we're looking for is the 3.0 million something. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for the 2.4 million or whatever. Okay, actually, maybe 2.5 million equals 11/12 of another thing. So therefore, that time, some x, 11/12 x equals this. X equals this divided by 11/12. This equals this divided by this. Oh, come on. Gotta be kidding me. Wait, did we try 11/12 of this number yet? No, this number is already 11 months. It doesn't make sense. Whatever. We'll just do it anyways. Nope. Come on. Wait. I already determined, like, I calculated the 3.021. I tried working backwards and doing what percentage is this number. We got this. What is 93.72026%? What is that? How do we turn that into a fraction? Is that getting close to a fraction that we're familiar with? Wait, why don't we do... why don't we move this over to here? Now let's figure out what fraction this is of this. They're somehow related. Wait, no. Here's the related number: 2,417,319. How is that number related to that number? It's literally the exact same fraction that I... How? How are we getting the same fraction again? What is that fraction that we're getting right now? What is that? That has the same relationship to that. Man, there's got to be a way to figure out, like, what fraction is this close to?
Wait, all we have to do is like, here's what we have to do. We have to take 2, 417, 319, 2, 579, 292. And then we have to manually type it into our freaking graphing calculator, and it will automatically reduce the fraction. Did I type the wrong number? 2, 579, 291. And the problem is that those numbers, wait a minute, crap. Now, here's the problem though, these are fractions. Okay, this equals this equals this. And now, how big of a fraction is this? It's not a fraction anymore. This is an exact number, so maybe the number he gave is also an exact number. 2, 417, 319. So let's see. Oh, you know what's freaking funny? He has 291 here, but I have 292. Wonderfulness. This times 11 equals this, minus this equals this, and then times 80% equals this. This is an exact number, folks. This number is exact. There's no fraction to it. It's exact. So why does he have 291? That has to be a mistake. In the problem, he has 291 instead of 292. So 292 should be an exact number. Okay, we're going to just try to see if we can reduce the fraction. Can our calculator just please reduce this fraction? Please. I can't even find my calculator. My graphing calculator. Well, this is going to be annoying. 2, 4, 1, 7. Unfortunately, it might not be an exact number. 2, 5, 79. 292. Darn it, it's not reducing the fraction for me. Is that a multiple of 3? 11, 12, 16, 17, 18. That's a multiple of 3. Is that a multiple of 3? Oh crap, it's not. Wait. No, all you have to do is figure out 7, 14, 23, 24, 25, 34, 35, 36. Holy crap, they're both a multiple of 3. Divide by 3. Are they also a multiple of 3? (13, 20, 27). Multiple of 3, 10, 17, 26, 31, 39 is a multiple of 3, divided by 3 again. Equals this, divided by this. Whoops. Is this a multiple of 3? 10, 15, 23, 29, 30, 31. It's not a multiple of 3. Wait, how on earth did this one end up smaller than this one? What? This makes no sense. How did this number end up smaller? This should not be happening. This number is... How did this number end up? I'm an idiot. I don't think these numbers are going to be divisible by anything. Yeah, but it just needs to be an approximation. The sum of these numbers adds up to 31, which is not divisible by 3. Gosh dang my life. Is 268 591 a prime number? Reduce fractions. Okay, copy this one into a numerator. And then copy this. Paste. Calculate. I got this. This is the simplest fraction that you can get from those two numbers. This is stupid. Haha. Whoops. So anyways, I'm wasting all my time on an enterprise fund problem because I'm stupid. How on earth did he get 3.021 million? Why did he get that number? Why? Does it have something to do with the fact that it's like 5 days into the month? Like, seriously? Like the full month would be 3.2 million, but in reality he's only paying. They're only paying. No, this makes no sense. What on earth? They're paying an amount of money here. That cannot possibly be it. Just be they're paying when they make that payment, they're paying for a full month's worth of pay. So why on earth is it? Where are they getting this number from? Where? Just where? It's like 93.7%. Like where? What is that? It's like I'm going to do 5 divided by 30 and see what happens. 1/6. Wait, what? That's exactly 1/6. Is 5 divided by 6 going to be equal to that or something like that? Like, no, that's not even close. What is going on here? Where is this number coming from? Did I calculate it? Dude, it would have been so hilarious if I actually have the answer to this written from when we talked about it in class. It might literally just be here, and I just wasted a million years of my life for nothing. Which one is it? Number 5? Divide something by 11! Wait a minute, what? I wrote divide something by 11. Full cool. I screwed this up. This one's supposed to be over here. Well, what do I divide by 11? That's the key. That's the key. Oh my gosh. I mean, I multiplied something by 11, but what do you well, if you divide something by 11 to get that number, then I'm going to multiply that number by 11 to see what happens. I bet that's not even part of it. I bet that's for a previous part. Why would you divide by 11? Well, I'm multiplying this by 11 to get this, but that's nothing. Wait, what if I was to divide it by 11? What if I just divide that number by 11? No, that doesn't do anything. I don't think dividing by 11 was going to help me here. And also, why would you divide something by 11? It should be multiplied by 11. I multiplied this by 11 to get this, and then I subtracted that to get this, multiplied by 80% to get this. And then clearly the number 3.02 million is a number we need to get somehow, but I just can't figure out how to get it. And the key is 93.7%. I don't know where we're getting the number because it's not 11/12ths. We already tried 11 divided by 12, right? See, look, 11/12ths is that. Wait, what if we did 11/12ths plus okay, let's try something here. 11 divided by 12, and then we're going to do 5 divided by 30. Stop. Now let's add these two numbers and see what we get. Nope. That was funny. Or what if he subtracted it? No. No. Where on earth are we getting the 93%? Just where? Why are we paying 93% of it? What if we multiplied this number by 12? Now we have this number. And then okay, when you're paying that cash, you're paying, but yeah, that represents 12 payments. Okay, so the fiscal year. During this fiscal year, you're going to also pay for last year's, right? I don't understand why we don't even account for the payment on the 5th day of the year, of the fiscal year. We're literally paying the employees their thing from last year. There are going to be 12 months in this year. We're going to make only 11. No, we're going to make 12 payments. We're going to make 12 payments. This whole year. Why don't we try taking the amount that we pay and divide it by 12? Actually, we'll divide it by 11 because that's what it said in the problem. And I have no idea what 274 is going to be for. Nothing. That's nothing. I was going to divide it by 12. But why would I divide by 12? Because you're going to make 12 payments. They're all going to be equal. So your 12 payments are going to be, this is your payment per month. But how does that even help? Man, for a second there, I thought you would just multiply it by 10, but no. My only clue was divide something by 11. Seriously, what? Are you serious, dude? Seriously. How would dividing by 11 help me at any point in this problem? Like, really? I multiplied by 11 at one point. Why would you divide it by 11? I mean, I tried dividing by 11. How does that it just gives me a number where I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with that number. I just figured it out. This is insane. This is insane. I just figured out how to get the answer, but it's just ridiculous. I just don't understand why this is the way it is. Why? The number... What? Why is that? Why? This is so weird. I just figured it out. This makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This makes absolutely no sense. The 302,165 is the amount that they assign to the tax. Why? That's not at all what it is. It says this is weird. This is so weird. That's got to be a mistake. That's just nonsensical. My God, this equals 10% of a number. Okay, times 10. You're literally multiplying by 10, and then you're getting. Wait, hold on a second. Yep, it is literally just multiplied by 10. How did I not realize that literally this number is this number times 10? How did I not realize that? What? I mean, it's off by 1, but still. Like, what? What the heck? They make this number the amount of the tax. And the tax is 10%, so if you multiply it by 10, you get the full amount. Like, what? 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 Why? Why? Just why? I had to work backwards. It's like you work backwards to get to your number that you want. You just memorize the fact that this number is also just going to happen to be used as the tax for some reason. For some random reason. Why? Dude, imagine if this thing is on the test. Just imagine. So first of all, you take the amount that of vacation days used, make that compensated absences expense, compensated absences payable, take the amount that was actually used, and reduce the payable, and then tax it, and its wages payable increases. Convert it to wages payable, but it's also to account for the taxes. And then when you pay the tax, you pay this, you pay 11 times this, but you subtract this number, and that's the amount, then to apply the taxes. And then finally you make a payment. For some strange reason, you pay, the payment is going to be equal to ten times this number. For some reason. Somehow you're going to just pay 10 times this number instead of 11 or 12. Because of course you are. And this number is also going to just so happen to be equal to the amount of taxes that you pay to each government. Man, I'm so tired. What are the other 2 stars? I didn't think this star was going to take this long. Just completely nonsensical. Debt service fund. How are there more stars? Oh, are there 2 stars on the other one? Because I thought there were no more stars after this enterprise fund. Let's see. Parking fund, school project fund, debt service fund. So the remaining stars are actually on this. There's 2 stars left. Did I miscount the stars? I completed 3 stars. Did I forget to get... No, I didn't miscount. The other 2 stars are on the Blue County problem. So let's see here. I mean, not the Blue County problem, the Town Hop problem. The next star is going to be... Which one was first? The fire station fund was first. We have a star. Oh, never mind. Both of the stars are on the oil fund. Wow, did I really have that much trouble with the oil fund? Literally the opening entry. Oh, come on. Stinking opening entry. Why? What was so incredibly complicated about the opening entry? Oh. I have the wrong paper. The weird thing about this opening entry, it's so weird. Honestly, I don't know if I really should have put a star on this one. Like, based on how I applied my stars to the rest of the assignment, I probably wouldn't have put a star on it. Investments counts as restricted fund balance. Oh, maybe this is why. It's because it's completely idiotic how a restricted investment is actually non-spendable and an investment is actually restricted. Yep, that's how it works. Restricted equals non-spendable, and blank equals restricted. That makes sense. I think that's what I was. That's why I put a star on it. It was just confusing. Why I didn't even put a star on the closing entry. Okay, what the heck is the closing entry though? That's weird. Why is the ending restricted fund balance? Oh, never mind. That's just the plug figure because the non-spendable fund balance added up to 27,230. All right, the severance taxes revenue all classified as non-spendable according to the way this is set up, because it says right there, revenues could not be expended at the very top of the question, so therefore you classify as non-spendable. It's that simple. Opening entry, severance taxes receivable, this much is uncollectible. They stated that that's restricted investments. Wait, no, they stated that this represents the prior year's severance taxes. Oh, what? Restricted investments. This amount represents the prior year's increase in the fair value. The increase in the fair value accounts will increase investments. Investments will be restricted fund balance because yes. Because yes. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. What was number 2? The one thing about number 2 I couldn't figure out here. So the 2,970,000. What the heck is that? Severance taxes revenue. Oh, you get rid of that revenue. Deferred inflows. You increase deferred inflows. How did you end up with 2,970,000? Oh, wait a minute. I think that's one of those things. Oil fund 2. So I think this is just one of those things that I've done before. So we have severance tax. Where do we do here? You take the amount of severance taxes that you can possibly get. Oh, never mind. Okay, so we have 29,700,000. Start with that number, subtract the amount that you collected. So let's see, did we collect some severance taxes here? Yes, we collected 23,760. So therefore, right? Is that all we collected? Yes. So therefore, equals this minus this. The remaining amount that you need to collect, or that think you will be able to collect, is this much. Then, 1/4 of the remaining will be collected each month. So therefore, equals this divided by 4 equals this times 2. You will be able to collect this much, therefore equals this minus this. And then finally, okay, you will collect this amount. This minus this equals this. How did I still not get the right answer? Oh, come on. Didn't I do this calculation before? Okay, so this is the remaining amount to be collected. No, this is supposed to be times 2, not divided by 2. I'm dumb. I messed that up. There we go. This minus this equals this. And I finally have the right answer. Okay, so we're good there. That is going to be severance taxes revenue decrease, and then increase unavailable severance taxes. But apparently unavailable severance taxes is a deferred inflow. I love how it's inconsistent with putting the extra label on there. Well, I technically worked through all the stars. Wait, no, I did not finish the opening balance yet because I was still working through this. Non-spendable fund balance should have that. And additionally, what? Did you hear that? That was funny. That was very funny. That was very funny. That was very funny. Is the non-spendable fund... You can't just make the non-spendable fund balance a plug figure. Can you? How do I not remember this song? Where did I get 500,000 from? Deferred inflows, unavailable severance taxes. Where is that coming from again? What? Wait, there's like a third number here. What the heck? heck? Holy crap. Dude, I think there's actually a thing going on here. Because like they literally have the same exact thing. The receivable is this, so the collectible amount is 1.5 million. So they're going to collect a third of this during each month. So a third of that is this divided by 3, and then equals this times 2, equals this minus this, and boom, you get the unavailable taxes. That's funny. I mean, if you do all of those parts, you can literally make the non-spendable fund balance a plug figure. Like, what? What the heck? Yeah, like, I'm gonna remember all this stuff. Man. Well, I technically went over all the stars and like figured out how to get all the numbers in the star problems. Am I about to study some more stuff? No, I'm not. No, I'm not about to do that. I guess I should probably figure out where my class is going to be.